Lovejoy have a fair amount of singles, man, pretty much their entire discography is singles. But there's one in particular that has almost been lost to time, and it only came out a year ago. And I think that's been exemplified by the recent Secret show that they did, because it wasn't even on the set list. And that song is of course, I'll Look Good When I'm Sober. And today I'm going to tell you why I think this forgotten Lovejoy song is still one of their best. But first, how do we get to this point? The date is the 6th of October and Lovejoy have just released Normal People Things, a standalone single but one that continues the vehicle of some sort crashing and burning into insert object here. We had the plane in Call Me What You Like, the train in Wake Up and It's Over, and the car in Normal People Things. So what's next? A boat? It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. But before we got there, something would get in the way of the boys' plans. You see, in early February 2024, Lovejoy would release this little teaser showing off new music, and the song that played in the video turned out to be Sober. Just 4 months after Normal People Things, this was a welcome sign for many, and it helped that the song from the snippet they showed sounded pretty cool and pretty different, especially considering their last song was an incredibly fast-paced indie rock song. But then, the shovel incident happened. I don't really want to talk about this, it's been talked about to death, and it's all been and gone. We ain't gonna talk about what did or didn't happen and who was in the wrong and who was in the right. I mean, you're free to down in the comments, but I'm not going to waste time dwelling on that here. But it is important to this story because the controversy, which erupted at the end of February, meant that the release of Sober would get delayed. And while the band cancelled their planned shows, let Will get healthy again and took a small break, we were left to wait for the full release of this song. And wait, we did. The date has just ticked over from the 8th to the 9th of August, and Sober is now out. I remember seeing this pop up on my Spotify page by pure chance. If the song was planned to come out on the 9th, I certainly didn't have a clue. But it was out. Time to listen. Okay, this sounds alright. I like the chorus. Let me listen again real quick. Okay, this is pretty damn good. That chorus is really good, and the slow verse is getting better. Okay, this is a banger. Let me spam my friend and tell him to listen to this song at like midnight. I then listened to the song like 15 times on repeat, rocking out in my bed when I had planned to go to sleep 30 minutes before. Apart from being there on the release day of Are You Alright, this was the first single I caught on release day, and wow, did it make me even more of a fan. And the response was generally pretty good. To the music. Sober soared to the top of the band's Spotify top 10, but the growth wasn't as quick as previous singles. It struggled to break 1 million streams in the first week, something that would have been achieved in mere days on previous songs. It really wasn't helped by the fact that this was the first song to come out since the controversy, and the hate train was still very much alive. People weren't listening to the music, they were coming into comment sections to direct abuse at Wilbur, and so the song took the brunt of this hate, despite it being one of their best up to that point. But in the coming months, as the boys worked on their upcoming but not yet known album and toured Asia, the song began to drop in the eyes of the people. It slipped back down the Spotify order, being leapfrogged by the classics, the One Days, the Sex Cells, Perfume. Just 1 year before, they had been on top of the world, but now they were making better music than ever and getting 1/10 of the appreciation. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it does, but it's not fair. But hey, I haven't even talked about the actual song. Why is this song so good? The song opens with a guitar riff before it really opens up. The drums and the bass come in proper, and the first verse starts. Wilbur sings of an ex who he misses and lists all the ways in which he can't forget about her, adding at the end of the verse that he wishes they can meet each other again. Throughout the verse, the guitar riff from the very start continues to play along with the drums and the bass. And then it drops, and the chorus begins. Wilbur delivers a passionate performance talking about what could happen if he and his ex met again. Tell me, what does your heart say? Would you listen anyway? I promise you I'll look good when I'm sober. He's almost desperate to win her back and continues in the second half of the chorus. Tell me, what have you got when you gave it all away? Hints that the singer is trying to reason with his ex. What did you gain from this breakup? Did you even gain anything? In the background, the song gets heavier while a different guitar riff can be heard throughout the chorus. The song reverts back into the pace of the first verse in the second one, but there are added elements to make it not sound the same. It's almost like we're making progress, much like the singer is trying to make progress with his ex. The second verse talks more about how much the singer misses his ex. I know we said that in the first verse, but whatever. Feeling like I miss the way you kiss me, mimic your lips with a sharp left hook, reaffirms his feelings. Like he misses her so much, the pain feels like being punched in the face. But in the second half of this verse, the singer seems to accept that he has to move on. So I looked to her, took it on the chin. But he is still suppressing his true emotions. He doesn't want to say goodbye, but he knows that he has to. Blood on a jumper, tuck your shirt in. But then he backtracks in the final lines of the verse. almost like a relapse. He finds comfort in pretending that he needs his ex, but still knows that he should be moving on. Hopefully we don't need you, but confident pretending that I do. In the second half of the verse, as the singer starts to make progress, more elements get added. The drums get a bit faster, up in the pace of the verse, but then when he starts to backtrack, that pace goes away and the song drops into the second chorus. With this being the second chorus, it's almost like the singer is asking for a second chance. The words are the same, but the meaning is slightly different, maybe even a bit more desperate because he's asking the same thing for the second time. But then the chorus extends into a two-line bridge. And you know just what to say, but the phone call's not the same. It's almost like they're still compatible, but something has changed. Maybe they're in a long distance relationship and constantly calling on the phone isn't the same as when they used to hang out with each other in real life. And then we get a short interlude and everything slows down. The drums disappear and we're left with the jangles of a guitar before the bass comes in to help it out. We then hear some jumbled lines and it's saying, I think a punch would hurt less than this, but reversed. But through the jumbled mess, you can sort of make out the words I'm desperate in there. I'll play it right now. This interlude rolls into a bridge, a monologue of sorts that we've become accustomed to with Lovejoy. It starts with a plea to just hear me out, going on to see how much he misses her. Before, his feelings have been in his head, but now he is relaying them to his ex. I miss the hangnails, pits of your skin, show how he loves every part of this person, even the seemingly insignificant bits. But by this point, his ex has moved on and is with another man. It hurts to see her looking at the new boyfriend instead of the singer. It hurts so much, it feels like he's being punched in the face. At this point, the ex is bored of his attempts to rekindle their love, the gasping of attention, the rolling of your eyes. But he isn't giving up just yet. He will plead one more time, don't make me go, I can be so much better, could be what you want. He's willing to change in order to stay with her, whatever it was that broke them up in the first place. And in the end, when this fails, he exclaims, cold pillars of steel, pressed before my tongue, would love if it were your lips, would settle for a gun. Showing that he would rather settle for death than to not be with her. He tried to forget, he tried to move on, but his love and his feelings never left. The song rolls into the final chorus, heavier than ever, and extends. You can hear his pleads and screams in the background of he's trying so hard to get back with this person and cannot stop thinking about her, even after seeing her with a new man, and her rejecting his advances now more than ever. He ends this extended chorus with the line, when the evenings run its course, I always end up at your door. This doesn't mean he's stalking her, but instead always thinking of her, as if he was at her door. Because let's be real, if you're knocking on someone's door, chances are you're thinking about the person behind it in some way. This outro sounds so good musically as well, and it really compounds the desperation that is shown by the singer's words. So those were my thoughts on the song. I did take some inspiration from the Genius page, and for the most part, they were my interpretations of the lyrics. This song is a masterpiece, and unfortunately it will never get the love that it really deserves. Yeah, it was played in their tours in 2024 and 2025, but they have an album now. They have like 40 songs they could play now, and I don't think Sober is going to be a part of it, ever. It's a real shame. This is a really well produced indie rock song, and it sounds musically great, and is rounded off with a really good story and good deep lyrics. But what do you think of this song? Do you hold it to as high of a regard as I do? Let me know. I want to see if there's any love left for this song. But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned.